You are thinking about buying in Surrey, before you even think about writing an offer, you should watch this video. Surrey is one of the fastest growing cities in all of Canada, and more people are moving here every year than almost anywhere in British Columbia. The SkyTrain is expanding, massive towers are being built all throughout Surrey Central, new schools are being built, and the developers are pouring billions of dollars into this market. And while Surrey has huge potential, it also has huge risks, because not every home in Surrey is a smart buy. In fact, some of the cheapest looking deals are some of the ones that end up costing buyers the most. I've seen it happen over and over. People think they're saving money, they think they found that hidden gem, and a few years later, they're buried in repairs, legal issues, or trying to sell a property that nobody wants. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 types of Surrey homes that I would never recommend you buy. And most importantly, why? And if you want my free Surrey Buying Checklist, the one I give to my clients so they can avoid these mistakes, just text me at 604-288-7592, or you can head to my website, rileyco.ca, and I'll send it right to you. All right, let's dive in. Number 1, we're going to be looking at pre-2000 condos in Whalley, Newton, or Guildford. On paper, these places look like an absolute deal. You'll see 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos under $500,000, and when you compare that to newer towers asking $600,000, $700,000, or $800,000, it's pretty tempting. But here's the reality. Many of these buildings were built before proper rain screening was required in BC, and that one little detail changes everything. Because without rain screening, water finds its way in. And once moisture gets into those walls, you're staring at massive envelope failure. I've seen it firsthand. Buildings around 104th, 108th, and Douglas Road in Whalley, some in Newton near 72nd and King George, Guildford near 96th and 152nd. And on the MLS, they look great. But then you dig a little bit deeper. And what do you find? 6-figure levies, strata fees hitting 80 cents or more per square foot, legal battles, and owners who are stuck because they can't sell. I'm going to give you a real example. A client once called me about a steal in Whalley. It was a 2-bed listed at $499,000. So it looked pretty amazing, but the strata had just passed a $20 million repair bill. So at the end of it, each owner was on the hook for about 70 to 80 grand. So here's the rule. Before you even think about buying an older condo in Surrey, you should ask these questions. When was the last envelope inspection? Is there a current depreciation report? And are there any special levies planned? If these answers aren't clear, I would walk away. Number 2 are illegal basement suites in Newton, Fleetwood, and Panorama. Surrey is a city of mortgage helpers. Everyone wants that basement suite income to help cover the mortgage, but here's the catch. Most of the suites in Surrey are not legal. That means ceilings are too low, there's no fire separation, windows that don't meet requirements, kitchens installed without permits, or electrical work that's not done to code. And here's what that means for you as a buyer. You can't rent it legally, insurance may not cover you in case of a fire, and the city can force you to decommission the suite. And also, when you go to sell, appraisers don't count the income. Lenders will discount your mortgage helper. I've had clients show me listings in Newton and Fleetwood advertised as having 2+1 suites, and they thought it was instant income, but when we decided to check with the city, there were 0 permits. And here's the kicker. Sellers will often say, oh, don't worry, it's easy to legalize, but in many cases, it really isn't. I've seen homes where the ceilings were too low and you literally have to dig out the foundation, which isn't easy, is not cheap, and a lot of the times it just ends up being an endless money pit. So here's the rule. If the seller can't show you permit history, assume the suite is worth 0. Number 3 are townhomes with NIGHMARE parking in Clayton, Fleetwood, and Sullivan. This one's becoming a big problem. Developers in Surrey are maximizing density, especially around future SkyTrain corridor in Fleetwood and Clayton. And while that means more affordable townhomes, it also means terrible site design. Here's what that looks like. Tandem garages you can't actually park 2 cars in, 0 driveways, no visitor parking, lanes so narrow that garbage trucks struggle to get through, and God forbid a fire truck needs to get inside. I always tell clients to drive through the complex at around 6 or 7 p.m. and that's when you can see the truth. Visitor stalls full, cars jammed on the curbs, double parking everywhere, and if you think buyers don't notice that, they do. The second they see parking chaos, they're out. And here's the other issue. If you have 2 cars, good luck. If you have family visiting, good luck. If you have older parents or kids with cars, also good luck. What felt like a deal can quickly become a daily frustration. So here's my rule. Don't just look at the unit, but study the parking and the site plan, because bad parking kills the quality of life and resale value. Number 4 is detached homes on busy Surrey roads. This is one of the biggest buyer mistakes I see, because you'll often see homes on King George, on 88th, 72nd, 152nd and Scott Road, Fraser Highway. And when you compare the price to similar homes on a quiet street, it's usually 10 to 20% cheaper. But here's the reality. You're buying constant noise. You're buying traffic. You're buying safety issues for kids and pets. You're buying pollution from hundreds of cars driving past your door. And the worst part is your resale pool is very small at the end of it. Families avoid them, investors avoid them. You're basically going to be left with bargain hunters who will try and chip you down further every time they say hello. So my advice with these, unless you're buying strictly as a rental play and you don't care about the resale, avoid these homes at pretty much all costs. Number 5 are older strata buildings with harsh restrictions. You'll see these pop up in Guildford, Newton, and even around Surrey Central. They're usually smaller complexes, maybe a 3-story wood frame built in the 80s or the 90s, and they look quiet and they look affordable. With these, you always want to check the bylaws. A lot of them are no rentals, no pets, no kids, no barbecues, and sometimes even age restrictions like 19 plus or 55 plus. And here's the problem. The stricter the bylaws, the smaller your resale pool. You can't sell to investors, you can't sell to young families, and you can't even rent it out if your situation changes. That means longer days on market, fewer offers, and lower prices. So my rule is to always check the bylaws before even booking a showing. I'm gonna throw in a bonus number 6, and that is pre-sales in Surrey Central. I know this is a little bit of a touchy subject because of the situation going on right now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not against pre-sales, but in Surrey Central right now, developers are under huge pressure. Construction costs are up, financing requires 50 to 70% of units sold, and buyers aren't biting at 600 plus when they can find nearly new resales for 450 to 470. So what's happening? Projects are being canceled. Towers that were supposed to be condos are getting switched into rentals. The supply pipeline is shrinking. And that means if you buy a pre-sale without knowing the risks, you could be waiting years for completion. Or you could be stuck with a building with massive turnover when dozens of assignments hit the market at the same time. So here's my rule. If you're looking at a pre-sale in Surrey Central, only buy from a reputable developer and always have a lawyer review the contract. So here's the bottom line. Can these properties ever make sense? Sure. If you're buying an older condo with cash and you're reviewing the full engineering report, okay. If you're buying a home on a busy street strictly as a rental, it could work. If you're bringing a suite up to code before closing and you've budgeted for it, that's fine. But for most people, these are high risk, high friction properties. And the good news is Surrey is huge, so you don't need to settle. So there you go. Those are 6 types of properties I personally avoid and tell my clients to steer away from, and why. If you want help buying the right property, the one that fits your goals, avoids these landmines, and sets you up long-term, you can text me at 604-288-7592 or grab the free Surrey Buying Checklist at rileyco.ca. Also, drop a comment if you've seen a sketchy property type in Surrey. I'd love to break it down in a future video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.